Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan in Traffic. We do this every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and we talk about everything. Anything you put gas in, we talk about it. Cars, boats, trucks, and Motormouth Ray. What's up, Ray?
That's right, Lewis. You're right. Motormouth Ray, motorcycles, motorboats. We'll like I said, put gas in it. We'll talk about it. You're right.
Yeah.
Um,
Now we gotta add in electric. Anything you put electric in, cars, anything.
yeah, we talk about electric a little, but usually not in a good way. So I like
you
to say
know,
anything you plug in. I don't know.
yeah. Anything you plug in. So while we're out on the road, a lot of RVers are using electric bikes.
Yeah.
And they're getting pretty strong, man. I got a
Oh yeah.
friend that has those mountain bikes, and they do 30, 40 miles an hour in the sand and dirt.
Have you ridden one?
Yes, I
Yeah,
rid one of his. Yeah,
I have too, and I was impressed. Now I'll tell you something. The county where I live, well, in the city, in New York City, where I don't live, it's rampant. I mean, they're all over the place. They're like, and
mhm,
they're dangerous. These guys are most, food delivery guys are on these things. Even
yeah,
out where I am, in the suburbs, there's food delivery guys using them right into the winter. And some of these guys are not the safest. They just they're going through intersections. They're cutting people off. They're in bike lanes, bus lanes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So the county executive where I live just passed a law banning any motorized vehicle that could go over 30 miles an hour. And there was a law already for kids. You had to be 16 or over.
Hmm.
And there's been some younger kids out here that were filmed. They were on the local news that were zipping around in traffic and being obnoxious. But I really don't agree with this because someone like me, I'm a senior citizen now. I was going to buy myself an e-bike and go out and pedal it around. And if you want, you have that battery assist.
Right.
Uh, Now it's illegal. I'm like, well, wait a minute, that sucks. That's
It messed it up for everybody.
you know, I think it was a case of just using one blanket, but going too far. And I'm hoping that there's going to be some pushback and there'll be some amending in there.
Right.
I understand who they're targeting, um, but I never like the blanket approach to stuff because there's a lot of good people that get
Yep.
affected by that blanket.
Caught up in it. Yep.
So,
But they came a long way, man.
oh yeah, yeah,
I got another friend that he has a schoolie too, and he has a one wheel, and it has one big tire, and you can stand on it has pegs that come out of the middle, and you can stand on it or you can sit on it. It's like a little seat.
oh wow.
And man, he rides that thing around like it's a Ford four-wheel car. It's crazy.
Have you ever been on one of those the board? It's like I don't know what they called it. It was like a skateboard deck with one wheel in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yep.
Have you ever been on one of those?
I'm
I
scared.
haven't either, and I'm not getting on one either because I see the YouTube videos when the kid has it and kids have great balance, and then dad gets on it or mom gets on it, and now it's on a fail video.
We can't afford to fall, man. I'm telling you.
No, no, no.
I'm working on the car the other day, the truck, and I'm laying on the ground. I'm trying to get up, and I'm grabbing for everything I can reach for to try to get up off the ground. So,
I know, right?
so I'm not messing around with one of those electric one wheel things.
No, too dangerous. Way
Yeah.
too dangerous.
Now back in the day, I would.
Sure.
I raced BMX and motocross, and I would try to jump anything. If I think I can make it over it, I try to jump it.
Right.
Now
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't even want to jump off the porch.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I think of that too. Like when I'm doing work around the house and I'm on a ladder or something, or I have to get into a weird position. Like I think I'm going to second guess this one. Maybe I got to do
Yeah.
this the safer way.
Yep. It's
Because
crazy. We got to start thinking that way.
well, yeah. I mean, I had to do that a long time ago because I've fallen. I fell back in the late '80s. I might have told the story. I came out of the house in the morning to put the garbage out and then go to work, and there was a light coating of snow. So okay, no big deal, didn't bother me. But what I didn't know is there was maybe like some black ice under that snow. I
Mm.
had the bag of garbage in my hand. I go out the front two steps, feet go out. I landed on my tailbone, and
Woo.
I ended up blacking out because when I opened my eyes, I had snow all over me. So I was out for not a long time, but
Enough
long
to get
enough.
snow on you.
And then, but man, that's what started all my back problems.
Yeah.
That started it. And now I see these fail videos where people fall. Their feet go out from under them, and I can't watch them because I did it, and I know you face that repercussion the rest of your life from
Yeah.
damage like that.
Yep.
So
it's crazy. I since I've been home, my hip's been hurting, and it's the weather, man. I think I got arthritis in my hip. It's crazy.
Yeah,
as soon as I hit Indiana line, I started feeling my back hurting again and my hip.
My same thing. My chiropractor had told me a while ago, because I know what happens. My back goes out because my hips go out, and I happen to have one leg shorter than the other. One leg is a quarter inch shorter than the other. Just the way God made me. I was like a Friday afternoon build, and they were short on the bone, I guess. Yeah. So my hips will naturally, they shift, which sends you back out of whack. So what he does is he always aligns my hips, and then the back falls in. So he told me a couple of years ago, we do these hip stretches. He goes, yeah, you got some arthritis in your hip. He goes, it's normal for someone your age. He goes, that's what's going to happen. He goes, it's, not everybody gets it, but many, many people do. He said, so it's just something that you got to keep stretched. You got to keep mindful of what's going on. And I said, yeah, okay. Well, that's you can't. I have arthritis in my hands. My thumb has been killing me again this week.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do for it. I mean, there's this creams, ointments, there's salve. I tried them all.
It's the weather. I'm telling you, when I was out west, I was a teenager almost.
Yeah. That's
so.
Right.
I met a guy out there. He does leather work too, and he actually is only about 45 minutes from here. His house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We started talking. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm from Slippery Rock," and I'm like, "Man, that's right down the street."
Wow.
So he goes out there every winter because his arthritis is so bad he can't even work. When he's here in the wintertime, he's like almost crippled. He said he goes out west for the winter, and it just changes his whole world.
Wow. That's cool. I got a new friend who's local. That's great. Yeah, it's true. And that's the stage of life that we're in, and we have to live with it. I mean, I got plenty of friends who complain about it, and I said, you know what are you complaining about? You're here to complain about it. That's a gift.
Yeah, right.
Sure. No, I don't like the aches and pains. I don't like the arthritis. I don't like it either. I said, but I there's only so much I can do about it. So, I just go about my day, and when the body gives you that signal, I slow down and then I back off. And like now, my chiropractor actually went away. Now that he was semi-retired, now he's semi-retired. So him and his wife, they were just down in Florida for like 2 months. Then they went over to Mexico. So I just got an adjustment. I hadn't been adjusted since November. And I felt pretty good. I really did, but I wasn't, because he got the hips in line and both sides were out. And now, since Sunday, when I had the adjustment, I've been sore every day. And my wife said to me, what's the matter? You got an adjustment. I said, yeah, well, this is what happens with people who are new to chiropractic. When they first go in, they'll get an adjustment and feel great because everything opens up. But then after a day or two, they'll get sore because things were manipulated. I said, that's why the majority of women don't go back, because they don't like dealing with that. It's like they don't like that the afterburn after working out, and they won't do it. Men are a little different. We kind of, plow through it. I said, I haven't been adjusted in like 4 months. So my body took a major reset, and now he put it all back in line, and I'm feeling the after effect. I said, now, unfortunately, he's not going to be back for 4 more weeks, but at least like it's a month. It's not going to be 4 months. And, go back and, try and keep it. I really should. Got to find another guy, but this guy is really so good, and he really understands the physiology of the body.
That's good.
Yeah. I've used a couple of guys, and they really didn't help. So what have you been doing since you've been back? You've been doing some leather work. What else?
I'm working on these raggedy cars I got.
Okay.
So my Silverado, I'm doing the brake lines on that. So I got them almost out. I got 2 of them out. I'm trying to take my time and do it right.
Yeah.
And so I'm playing around with that. But then I'm under the truck, and I look down the driveway, and I see stuff leaking from my Jeep.
Oh.
So I go look under that. It's leaking transmission fluid somewhere, and it's wet all over it. So I got to get under there and spray it off and see where it's
But
coming
it
from.
blows back when you drive. So it's an automatic, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
and it looks like it's coming from the top of the transmission somewhere. So it might be the filler tube, or I'm not sure.
yeah, I was just talking to a friend about that today. He said he has an older Ford wagon, and when it sits, he gets a puddle. I said, you know what? Check the filler tube O-ring, because on the older cars, a lot of times what happens when it sits, the torque converter drains out into the transmission, which raises the fluid level in the transmission. And when it hits that filler tube, if the O-ring is breached, it'll leak out. I had a car that did that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you got to take a look.
Brian probably knows. He knows a little bit about the Jeeps. He told me don't buy it.
Yeah.
But it's running pretty good. I mean, I like it a lot.
Speaking of that, another buddy of mine was just down in Florida with his wife for like a month or two, living the good life. And he sends me a text the other day. He says, listen, he goes, I don't know if you know anything about this. He goes, I'm sitting outside with my wife having a coffee at this place, and this guy wheels up in a Jeep. You know, no doors, no roof. He had that rear angled canvas thing on it though. I'm like, okay, I've seen that. Decals all over it. Looks like he's YouTube stuff. Like the guy is some kind of I don't know if he's an influencer, but he's doing big with social media. So the guy gets out, looks like he's in his 60s, about 6'2", gray hair, back in a ponytail, tattoo, cut off shirt, tattoos everywhere. He's carrying a big 45 on his side. Walks into the store. He goes, you have any idea who this guy might be? I'm like, what? I'm like, you're in Florida. I was like, dude, sounds like everybody I know. It's like,
Yeah.
It could be anybody.
Yeah, it could be the neighbor.
I said, yeah, ask him if he's, ask him if he's somebody. I don't know. He said, it's like something any biker or guy I know, It was kind of funny.
Yeah, we like the Jeep a lot. I'm thinking about maybe buying a 2-door to pull. If I get a trailer, get a 2-door Jeep so I can fit it in the trailer better.
Oh yeah.
But I want to do one with big knobby tires and lift kit and all that good stuff.
I would say I like the older ones. I worked at one at the shop. It was an 80-something CJ, and it was a straight 6. With a I think it was a 5-speed, not a 4-speed. And those things are bulletproof, man. If they run well, they're bulletproof. You can work on them. There's
especially
accessory
the older ones. The older ones, they could LS swap it pretty easy too.
Sure. Oh, I'm driving on the road the other day, coming home, and I'm in the middle lane on Sunrise Highway here, and I see a car in the left lane, and it was like a 350Z. I'm going to say maybe a 380Z, but it was that style. Mm-hmm. And the thing that caught my ear, it was the ear. I said it had an exhaust tone to it, and it sounded good. 2 chrome tips coming out the back. I get next to it, I get behind it, and I see he had M&H Race Masters on this car, tucked under the wells. They were 315 or 305 45 17s, big tires under the well of this car. Yeah. Well light, drag stars in the front. And I'm like, this car's got to have an LS in it. It's got to. So we're at the light. I was on his quarter panel. I couldn't get next to him because of traffic, but I wanted to yell over and ask him, what the hell was under the hood of that thing.
You could hear the sound though, huh?
Oh yeah. And you know what? It was very highly muffled. It wasn't loud and it wasn't obnoxious, but it definitely had a V8 sound. It wasn't,
Yeah.
6. Man, and what a sleeper, because he really kept it kind of on the down low. Really cool.
Yeah, my friend has a Mustang Shelby, what is it? Shelby 350.
Uh-huh.
And he took his original wheels and he had the back ones cut and stretched.
Yeah.
Widened. So
right.
the wheel still looks like it's, factory, but
right.
when you get behind it, look at them, they're wide.
That's a nice way to do it. Yeah. It keeps the factory look, but it's something's up and you're not sure what it is.
Yeah, and it's a monster too. It's he's running I think 12 or 1300 horse.
Wow.
He has nitrous, he has everything done to it. He has the ice cooler in the trunk. When you're racing, you put the ice in it. I mean, it's a beast.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I was going through my phone the other day looking for a number, and I see stuff. Man, I see numbers from people from the past, like I haven't talked to in years. Like, oh man. And I had Tommy Christmas in my phone. It made me think, like, man, I wonder how the Christmas brothers are doing. How they're making out there. Have you spoke with them?
I talked to Tommy. Let's see, probably. No, it's been a while now. Maybe last summer I talked to him. They're doing good. They're all spread around now. Like Chuck, the big one, he's over in Hawaii, but he lost all his weight. He ain't big no more.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah, you wouldn't even recognize him.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing good.
If you talk to them, see if we can get them back on, talk and catch up on them. Those guys were cool. I mean, I had them on the radio show too. They were just great. I loved the TV show. They were very entertaining. It was good to watch those guys.
Yeah, and they really like cars and stuff because around here I always see them at all the car stuff. You know what I mean? So they're really car people, and it's a shame that they got rid of the show like that. But
it probably wasn't their fault. It probably wasn't their idea. It was probably the network.
Yeah, it was the network. It was when the guy left Gas Monkey. What's his name?
Aaron.
When Aaron left, they put Aaron's show in and took off.
Oh, okay.
Took off.
He had more. I guess more cred. The other guy, Keith. Keith Sturgeon. He's another guy. I've been seeing him on social media. He's been doing a lot of stuff, man. A lot of events, and we're doing some cool stuff. Good to see that. It's good to see.
Yep. Let's get the fellas in and see what they're talking about.
Sure.
I got to hear Brian tell me about my Jeep.
There he is.
Told you to sell it.
I love it, man. I love driving it, man. It's a fun
They
vehicle.
call that a bikini top. You talk about the thing on the Jeep.
Yes.
The bikini top.
Yeah. Okay. Them things are expensive. I looked at them. I was going to get one. Dude, they're like $700.
Lewis, you'll find out that Jeeps are like bugs, Volkswagen bugs. They have a hardcore niche that people just love those things.
Oh yeah,
and they just
Well, and they're really in it if they have like a whole dashboard full of ducks.
I got a couple of them.
Truthfully, I don't get it. I don't.
Wait, Brian, listen. When I got the Jeep, I'm like, why do people got all these ducks on there, right? So I pull up on a lady at the store. She goes, I was like, what are those ducks for? And he goes, oh, people gift them to you, and just to try to make your day happy, right? So I was like, oh man, I had to get some ducks. So I went on, I bought 100 of them off Amazon. So I got a whole box in the back.
Oh shit!
So when I see another Jeep, I go duck them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
No comment.
My sister had one of the.
So this Ray.
The last
model. I showed you this.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the dashboard. Yeah,
right here. This is what you ride around and break your leg.
That's right.
Or hip.
Break your hip. Collarbones. Usually, a lot of people break their collarbone.
That's a good one. That's fun.
Yeah, because you can't cast that one.
What was that meme that popped up the other day that said all of those people who laughed at the commercials back in the 70s and 80s about I fall and they can't get up?
Right,
it's like, it ain't funny. It ain't funny now, is it?
It sure ain't.
But not funny now.
Yeah, so I got a leak in my Jeep. I think it's on top of the transmission, so I gotta get that fixed before I take off again. There's always something.
Yeah, Brian, you knew something about Jeep transmissions. Lewis says the leak may be high. I mean, usually high, it's like a governor. It could be a governor or something like that.
Yeah, it's really hard to see without looking or whatever. But like you said about the drainage, when you're towing that thing behind you, it's in neutral, right? I mean, you have it.
Yeah, you put it in neutral. The 4-wheel drive part, you put that in neutral, and then you put it back in the park.
And
that's how you flat to it.
Well, the transfer case, if that's in neutral, that's going to stop everything. But because I inadvertently burnt up a transmission one time, not realizing, not thinking we should have pulled the drive shaft out of it, and we didn't, and threw it in neutral, and then they didn't realize it. And the transmission, the front pump, the pump You know, if it's not running, the pump's not pumping, and we chewed up a 700 R4 bad.
Yeah.
It was dead anyway, so.
Yeah, Jeeps are the number one flat tow vehicles. That's why you see them a lot on RVs and stuff.
That's my ex was, you know, when I had that 32-foot pusher, she was like, we should get something to tow behind it. And that's the same thing. I said, well, a Jeep. Mm-hmm. I wanted an old school, Mini. I wanted an old school Mini.
Yeah. Yeah, you look well in that. Yeah, you look good in the Mini.
Hey, those things have good leg room.
They do.
Not, right?
Yeah.
Well, Rosie Greer, we went through that was
everything's up front.
So does the smart cars. I can fit in a smart car. I'm 6'5", and I was surprised. I seen one at SEMA, and I was like, "Hey, let me see if I can fit in there." Not that I would drive it, but
time out.
Go ahead.
All right, look. I want you to turn this off and then come back because I think something's not right here.
Reset the show.
Reset the show. Okay, before I get myself in trouble and say something, but you guys are not talking like normally, like the people I knew before last week. Okay.
Hey, I wasn't here last week, so
I'm really starting to think twice about you and your Mini. So look, I just really maybe we need to restart here.
Maybe it's just because you went to Expo and you got a little brain boggle.
Expo, yeah.
So there's reason.
I saw they were doing tattoos at Expo. They had a tattoo booth set up.
Yeah, they had a tattoo.
Okay, what'd you get? What did you get? You got a new Mac one?
I didn't get one. It was kind of common. I don't know, guys. It was very bizarre. They had tattoo artists there, and they had 4 tables or 5 tables, and they throw you up there, and they had 6 or 7 different tattoos you can choose, and they put it on you. So,
how's the weather? Did the weather work out?
Hey, I was really surprised. The weather was really nice, considering today was like 50 cold and crappy.
Today was miserable. Yesterday was
nice.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really nice.
81 today in Jacksonville. Sunny.
I only went down for the kickoff on Sunday. Spent the day Sunday, did all the classes, did the kickoff, and Monday I worked. I went out. I didn't go to the expo. And then Tuesday I spent half a day at Expo. I got all my stuff done, talked to everybody I needed to talk to, and finished placing my order. And I don't know. Like I said, I rolled out a little early and came back. It was funny. It was really nice Tuesday, and Expo was completely empty.
Really?
After lunch, everybody was like, "See ya." But they had 5 or 6 toolboxes that were left over on the show floor that weren't sold. So they had told us, our district and the other district next to us, so the ones that are in the area, that if you want a better deal or a deal on the box, let us know. So one of my guys went down Wednesday after the show, and this is a pretty cool picture he got. As he's loading the box, they're loading Antron's dragster next to him.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Let's see there. I'll take the picture.
Yeah, that's great.
So Jay was loading a box, and then they roll that out, and they had the car carrier next, and they're putting that next to it. So that was pretty cool.
So, okay, you really can't see in the picture. How do they, the lift bed comes down. So how do they get the car in? Because they can't lift the whole car.
Yes, they do.
It hangs off the ass end. It hangs off the back.
But I'm
Ray,
saying
those
the
things go up. They,
What goes
they
up?
pull that thing up, and the door goes up, and then the car goes in.
I'd like to see that. That's
Yeah, the whole door.
I'll have to look. I have a picture from the last time this was quite a while when I was at Englishtown, and they were loaded in a car, but they rolled the car out, and about 4 feet hangs off the back of it. 5 feet hang off the back.
Wow.
But once it gets up there, they kind of they scoot it right up into the nose, and then it rolls right in. It's fairly. I mean, it's scary. I mean, it's like us dropping a toolbox.
Right.
The one box I dropped, I had 3 feet hanging off the back, floating in the air from the lift gate because it wasn't so.
Today's journey was I went with my buddy from the shop. He bought a 4-post lift for his house, and we went out with his truck and his trailer, and the guy brought the forklift, brought it over, and dropped it on the trailer, and we strapped it down. I'm like, you just see everything go boof, everything just dropped. Freaking lift is heavy.
Our lift is heavy,
and he doesn't bolt those to the floor. The 4-posters, he just lets them sit.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
it always kind of scares me a little when I see a lot of places that don't.
Well, I guess the idea with the 4-post, the way the weight is distributed, it really isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, until it does.
I mean, well, I guess all the ones he has aren't bolted down, so when he hasn't had an issue yet, doesn't mean he can't, obviously, but so I don't know.
I've seen a lot of videos where cars fall off the lift.
I've seen a bunch of those too. Yeah, I thought they were usually user error. The guys lifted the car wrong or distributed the weight wrong.
That's probably majority of it. Yeah.
I mean, a 4-post though, you're on a ramp, so there's no weight to.
It's hard to do that, but it's like I had a shop owner, and one day I walk in there and he's got a lift, on the side, on this one side. And I told him, I said, that concrete floor there isn't the right concrete. He goes, concrete's concrete.
Oh, Rosa.
I was like, I don't think so, dude. And he's like, well, what do you know? And I said, all right, whatever, dude. Good luck. And so oddly enough, he had a F-250 on the lift, and it leaned up on there. It kind of leaned, and it pulled the lift post out of the ground.
Wow! And
the thing that kept it from falling was it was leaning up against the wall of the building.
Right.
Wow.
And so the next week when I walked in there, I noticed that the lift was laying like that. And he told, one of the mechanics there showed a picture of the F-250 laying sideways up against the building, and they had to use like 3 tow trucks and so forth. And they finally got it down and about.
Yeah.
But that was the first thing they said, because they didn't have the right strength of the concrete and thickness.
Right.
And that's why sometimes you'll see when they put those things in, they'll cut out a 3-foot section and they have that different concrete. I can't remember.
It was interesting because the guy, Mike was asking him if they do installations, and they do. So I happened to ask the guy, I said, what thickness concrete do you need for these things? And he says, well, with a 4-post lift, he says, 6 inches is good. He goes, we've done it with 4. He goes, but 6 is really preferable. He says, what about a 2-post? He goes, yeah, you want like 8 inches on a 2-post. I bet you a lot of the old shops probably don't even have that much.
No.
A lot of them had the in-ground lift, so they didn't, it wasn't above ground lifting.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what they said as of today. It's
So a lot of them they'll cut out a 3-foot pad where the lifts will go in, and they put that mix in. It's got like 572 and 437 and pixie dust and this and that. It's a mix that they of the concrete.
right.
And but yeah, I got a buddy of mine right now, and they put a 4-post up, and he's got stuff, and I walk by it. I don't even want to touch it. It's just it bugs the hell out of me.
Really?
He's leaning up against it. He's got a car underneath, got a car on top, and he's leaning against it. And I was like, dude, you're driving me crazy, man. Step away from that, dude. Because it ain't gonna go nowhere.
Well, it's made to be worked on and under if it's done right. I mean, that's
Yeah. I'm with you, Brian.
Yeah.
Stuff makes me nervous.
High pressure concrete with the rebar, and I remember one engineer talking about it. He goes, well, if you think you need 4,700 pounds, make it 5,200 pounds. If you think you need 4 inches, make it 5. He says, with concrete, he says, going a little extra is not going to kill you. He says,
tell you, yeah, you're right. I have 8 inches in my driveway. I had the driveway done, and I told the guy, I said, I want it thick because
it's commercial.
Yeah, because I want, because I was, he saw I had blacktop, and from all the summertime, I had all the divots in it from where the floor jack sunk. I said I'm always lifting cars, and I had different types of lifts. I didn't have a full size lift, but so he gave me 10 inches in the driveway with a, and I said to him, listen, I want a dry well underneath, because what I wanted to do is come off my house to cover the driveway with a hard awning, a hard roof, which never got done. But I said, so I need poles for that, pads for that, tea delivery, and
she's home.
yeah, I didn't have to go do it myself. I like that. So he did, and I remember calling home one day when he was working. I asked my wife, "How's it going?" Yeah, he's doing the dry well. I said, "How's it going?" She looked outside. She said, I could just see the top of his head. Now, the mason I had was like 6'4", 6'5". He was a big guy. I said, see the top of his head? How the fuck down is, where is this guy? Well, I ended up when I came home, I saw what he did. I expected a 55-gallon drum just to catch the rainwater off the roof. The reason being that, with the way the leader came down, I didn't want the water on the driveway under my carport that I never got, because then it would freeze. So put it in the dry well. No, he got the precast cesspool block, the cesspool, with the cone, and that's what he put down in there. He goes, listen, with this driveway, he says, the barrels, after a while, they rust, they collapse. He goes, I don't want anything happening to this driveway. I got the good stuff. I got, that's on me. I was like, wow, nice. So, yeah.
That's like, I had asphalt driveway here at the house, and about 10 years, 12 years, it was just torn up. The tool truck tore it up, and so when we were, getting estimates on driveways, they would all come out, and I was just going back with asphalt, and they would look and they said, "Were you parking this?" Finally one guy said, "Are you parking this truck here?" I said, "Yeah, the truck parks here." He goes, "Dude, you gotta go concrete."
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I had asphalt before, and it was like 12 years, before. He goes, that was old asphalt, because it takes, for it to cure, it's like 5 years. The asphalt, and he goes, when you moved in here, this was already cured, rock hard asphalt. That's why it took so long. He says, man, if I lay asphalt on this, he said, man, in 3 months, 4 months, this driveway will be wiped out, because that asphalt will never cure,
right,
or have time to cure. And then I started thinking, I was like, yep, because just like when they go out here and pave these roads and they got the buses driving on them, they're
Mhm.
wavy within a
Yeah.
year, and they just
That's right.
never have time for that stuff to cure.
That was
And
kind of interesting because I asked the guy when we were talking about getting estimates and all for the prices. He says, because I had other work done too. My driveway's like 85 feet long, but still I had some sidewalk work done. I had a lot of other stuff done, and he says, you know what? He says, how about I get you, asphalt. I'm like, no, man, I had asphalt before. I said, first of all, you don't do asphalt. He goes, no, I don't. I said, so what do you offer me asphalt for? He goes, it's going to be so much of money. Real thick Italian. So much of money. It's going to cost you a lot of money. I said, listen, I'm willing to pay for what I want. I said, and I want concrete. I said, just do it. And he's like, okay. And he did whatever he could to keep the price down, but he
yeah.
tried talking me out of it. And I said, no, we're not going that way. I said, thanks for looking out for me, but
So that's what the guy said. The one guy that said that with the asphalt, he said, well, what I would do is where you park the truck would be concrete and then do the rest asphalt.
do it half and half. Yeah.
And then, of course, he looks and I've got the F-350, I've got Excursion,
Right,
I got all
right.
these big, I got all these big vehicles, not necessarily heavy,
Scratch
but
that.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I think you're looking just concrete, and we found a
Yeah,
guy to do
scratch.
concrete. But even I thought it was, because he comes out and he's like, well, residential's 4, commercial is this. He's going down the line, and he even said that even concrete itself takes years for it to finally cure. That's why when you get into some of these older houses with like a basement or a porch in the backyard that you can't break up, he said, man, that stuff has cured. It's had 20 years to cure. And that's why it's like, a diamond then, it's hard, so hard. He
It's
says
true.
it's always
Because,
expanding. And that's why you need the expansion joints.
yeah.
He said all that stuff is curing the whole time still.
When I moved into this house, in the back of the yard by the bushes, it was a stupid place because it was far away from the house. They had a little like a barbecue, like a fireplace pit. It was really nice. I mean, it was in disrepair. I wish I could, I wish it was in better shape and it was closer to the house, but they put it, I guess, further away from the house. So over the years, I had taken it down little brick by brick. The bricks were easy, because you get into the mortar with a pinch bar. But I had there was a concrete pad that they put down, and I couldn't break it up. And finally, I just kind of let the grass grow over it, and I was always remembered there was concrete there. So another time, years later, I had the same guy here doing some other work. I said, by the way, I got this concrete pad out there. I said, can you guys just break? Because this guy, I see him breaking up my sidewalk, old sidewalk. He just with a sledgehammer, boom, boom, and get with a big pinch bar. These guys do it all by hand. Like, freaking guys are, tough. So I said, do me a favor, just take that pad out. It's like a 3x4. Whatever. Yeah, no problem. Well, these guys were fighting and working, and he never told me why. I was always curious why, but I guess that's it. It was here when I moved in, and it was here God knows how many years before, so it must have been very old concrete, and they struggled. So, yeah.
I had one engineer tell me one time, Ray, that he goes, the time for concrete to actually cure, he goes, it's all that depends on what it is, what pressure it is, how thick it is.
Yeah, and the composition.
I can remember 20 years ago, or actually probably 25, closer to 30. In Savannah here, it's an Army base. It's Hunter Army Airfield, HAAF, and the main runway, they were digging it up because I went by Perimeter Road one day and I could see they had crews out there, and this thing was 18 inches of concrete.
Wow, yeah.
And they were pulling this up to put in a 8-inch concrete runway, and I'm like,
wow.
I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but you're digging up an 18-inch concrete to put in an 8-inch. Oh, well, this new stuff has got rebarb in this, and I'm like, yeah, it took you guys like a month and a half to do how much of it? And I mean, you could see the big chunks of this stuff is because it was, like I said, it was 18 inches thick, and is wide, and it was a runway. And when it was designed and poured back in the 50s or mid 50s or early 60s, that base was set up where they could land anything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
DC-10, if anything in the fleet, they could land it and take off.
They could land
So
a buff.
it was wide and it was long and it was thick.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the one guy was saying, he goes, technically, he goes, it might take 100 years for that concrete to officially cure. Again, just depends upon what the mix and how it was done and that. And so
Right.
they definitely don't pour it like they used to.
No.
Yeah.
I looked at a place the other day, Ray, old school, big double car garage, had one crack in the garage. And I kid you not, it was this much of a crack.
Mhm.
Saw another place, cracks everywhere. Cracks
Yeah.
everywhere. Like, boy, that old house, that concrete work was a lot of
Done right. Yeah. 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 So speaking of old stuff, I was in the garage the other day, putting some stuff away, and I found something that I wanted to show Paul. We talked about it last week. This is a extreme flame kit,
Flame kit.
dual exhaust flamethrower kit.
Oh yeah.
That somebody gave me. Yeah, it's all, this one little box. There's actually two. I just noticed this. I had never even opened this thing up.
got like what, a coil, a couple bungs for plugs, and
Actually, it's electronic. If I can open it. This is a hell of a good Ziploc bag. Yeah, bastard. It's got a the rubber band fell apart. So it's got an electronic black box. It's got to have some capacitor and whatever. But it's got some wiring. And I just saw this. Bosch plugs.
Bosch plugs. That's
Yeah,
funny.
they are
Bosch Supers.
W7 DCs,
Yep.
25 Newton meters. So
You said, what was it? WD what?
W7 DC.
It's kind of a cold plug.
That's what we ran in the 911.
Let me see.
I used to get a lot of grief from some of my buddies because of my daily beater. I used to run the Bosch Supers in it, and I went, dude, that's actually a good plug for the money.
I'll tell you, my BMW motorcycle takes Bosch plugs, and I was looking, Barry, we talked about this now, it's probably a couple of years ago, but I wanted to get new plugs, and I can't find them. I can't find that number. Nobody seems to have them. It's it's weird. So this thing is really pretty simple. You wire up the black box. It gets a where are we here? Black wire is ignition. Blue wire goes to ignition coil B. Ignition coil A. So it goes to the coil. So it amplifies. There's a push button, and then the plugs. So, yeah. Same ways. I mean, I know guys had done this. They actually mount a distributor on a board with a coil, a separate system, and put it in the trunk and run it. And then just like with a manual choke the car, get it real rich, and then fire the thing off, light it off, and it would, throw some flames.
It's like the old days of turning it off, pump the shit out of the gas pedal, and turn it on, and blow the exhaust off.
Yeah, I mean, then there were guys that they were cheating, and they went and got
Blow muffler up.
They started using propane, but you could always tell because the flame is different than propane and gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are Bosch.
I'm surprised more people didn't blow themselves up playing around.
Sure, a few of them did.
Wonder how much of a spark it would take to ignite a spray of diesel.
Probably a little more.
Well, the thing with diesel is though, diesel takes compression to ignite.
Yeah, it's you need one hell of a flashpoint to.
Yeah, right. The flash point is higher, like kerosene. Even the flash point is higher.
Wonder if E85 would work.
Again, I don't think it's as volatile. So even the gas with ethanol, it takes more. That's why people's gas mileage goes down, because it takes more spark energy to light off the ethanol fuel, and you lose efficiency.
Well, but see, there's a give and take to that. A lot of guys that run the E85 around here are the tuners.
Yeah.
Who they're looking for the octane, for the higher octane and the methanol to help cool it down, so where a lot of guys can cheat and not necessarily run an intercooler or maybe another pound of boost or something, because they, again, can play with some of the timing and the fuel curve. So,
there's actually race classes that run ethanol. I mean, a lot of guys
Well,
run.
they
I'm not
spec
ethanol. They're running E85. Yeah.
I've seen a couple classes like that, Ray, where they spec a specific kind of E85 or whatever for it. Or
Right.
It's crazy how you can change fuel and tweak stuff to get the horsepower.
Yeah.
One of the shows was talking about that the or was it Engine Builder or somebody, and they were talking about how they could run like 116 octane or E85, or again, the thing had probably 10.5 or 11-to-1 compression, and they're like, you're getting close to nowadays not streetable, but E85, and then the guy was saying, he says you go get the little GM 2-wire sensor for the, like my pickup truck has got, because my pickup truck 09 is E85 compatible. It's got that little fuel switch or something. He goes, you wire that switch in, and he goes,
You drop me off.
you can run the E85 with with the thing a little easier, or the 116 and all that. And like you said, technology. I tried to tell my nephew the other day, I said, man, you guys got it good.
Yeah.
Technology now.
You know how hard it was back in the day? Even 25 years ago, it was hard to get horsepower. These guys can hit a switch on the computer and
Well, I'm one of those like Brian. I spent my Saturdays crawling through junkyards looking for pieces and parts because they didn't make them. You had to get it and make it work.
Yeah. No, the best thing I ever learned about hot rodding, being a Pontiac guy, was I could buy Chevelle parts. A-body, man, they cross over, and when I figured that one out, I was like, oh, that's great. That stuff is everywhere.
68 to 72.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of the 68, 72 stuff in my car, but even the earlier ones, the first gens, because the dealer network was always lighter, for Pontiac. You just couldn't get stuff.
Yeah, because and I got lucky with my Chevelle being a 69. It was kind of right in the middle of that A-body stuff where you could find stuff for it, and eventually the aftermarket started. I remember looking at Hodgkins and stuff like that, and different stuff and all that, and it's
right.
F bodies, A bodies, Camaros or pony cars. Mustangs, Camaros, Firebirds.
Yeah.
And then
I had that problem with Oldsmobile. I was a Cutlass guy, so I had a hard time finding aftermarket stuff for Cutlass.
Sure.
Oh, you had what did you have? A 76, right? 76, 77?
I had a whole bunch of them. I had a 73, 75, 77, 79, 82, and an 86.
Yeah, 73 to 77, there was like nothing for them. There still is nothing for them.
Colonnade bodies, yeah.
Well, that was what did that wasn't an X? What did they call it? Because they went from
there was an X frame. That was like the Omega and the those cars were the X chassis.
Because
the one Keith was mentioning, those are called the Colonnade bodies. That's when they went to the Colonnade style.
Because I had a 75 Malibu. My brother had a 73 Malibu, and it's that same body style. The Oldsmobile, Pontiacs, and the Chevrolets, and all you could do with like the A bodies. A lot of that stuff would swap over from some of the Cutlasses to the Malibus and the
It was like the Pontiac Ventura, right?
Yeah.
Body style.
Well, like we said, the Nova.
It was Nova, yeah.
It was. I don't know where I picked up this factoid, but Nova is an acronym, and it stands for, the N is for Nova, the O is for Omega, the V is for Ventura, and the A is for Aster. Those were the 4 cars in that line that shared that body and chassis.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Cool.
So I went food shopping yesterday, and I see on the side of the road across the way, like an 81 Malibu, all in prime, and it's just flat hood, but it's sitting up high. So somebody did springs, and it's got like a bigger tire on it, but with black steel GM wheels. And I'm like, man, something about this car looks tough. It's like looks sleeperish. So, it was there on our round trip yesterday. Now today we went to pick up that lift. We went past the same spot, and there it is again. I'm like, man, I wonder if it's abandoned. If somebody stole it and abandoned it. I'm thinking, those are cool cars. My buddy's got one, an 81 that he wants to sell. It's actually a bucket seat console car. Nice, with 305 in it. But this one's probably a bench seat. Most of them were. I'm like, man, they're tough looking cars.
My brother had a 73, had the swivel buckets in it where you could. That
was in my 73 Monte Carlo. Yeah, swivel bucket.
I had that in my 75.
I wish they had those now.
Yeah, right. I know.
Get it.
There you go.
That was my 79,
yeah.
And it had T-tops. This was my
T-tops.
competition car, stereo competition.
That's a Riviera in the back, huh?
Yeah,
Nice.
front-wheel drive.
My buddy just bought one of those for his wife. Bought an 85 for his wife.
So this had a big stereo in this. This is what I went stereo competitions with.
Okay. Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, that was my baby.
What?
It's one of the cars I wish I had because it had T-tops.
Oh, yeah, that's different. Yeah.
My sister had a 83 Cutlass Calais with T-tops, and I had to fix it because all the inside was just all rotted away. I had to fix all that up. Yeah. And then I found out they sell the pieces for the Grand National, and because I actually made like the metal piece, the little T piece. I'm like, I made it, and then I'm looking online. I go, I could have just bought that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Louis, what year did they start the DB drags? Because I remember, as a young dude going to the audio shows and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden it became DB drags, and I'm like, what the hell is DB? And it's the same thing. They just renamed as competitions and stuff.
I want to say 88, 89, maybe.
There was a guy had a stereo shop here in town, and he turned his had a couple really good installers, and he turned them loose, and he went out and bought like a mid to late or 75, 76 Cadillac Hearst, and they put like 818s in it and this and that, and the wall in there. And I was in there while they were doing something, and that thing hit so hard it blurred my vision. I mean, literally, the fluid in my eyes is like, it's like, God, good Lord, get me out of this thing before I end up more deaf than I already am for the cars and the race cars.
Yeah, it was like being around my friend Billy when he would fire up his top fuel rail, and you get that nitro burn on your eyes, like, and it hits your back of the throat, just shuts your breathing down for a second. Like, I like it.
Yeah, do it again. Do it again.
Yeah.
Ray, you could always tell going to a national event who were the rookies, because they would wheel the fuel. They'd have the fuel cars, and they start dragging the starters out, and if everybody's getting close, and all the people who knew started back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, very true.
They start that thing on alcohol, and then it hits that nitromethane, and it starts cackling, and just because the one guy was saying, he goes, it's literally exploding. He says nitromethane doesn't. He goes, it basically explodes. That's why it's so violent and all that. And I went, hey, the guy raced fuel cars for years, so I couldn't argue him saying that. So
no.
Yeah, those are good old days.
Yeah. Yeah, just up into the 2000s. My friend, I got a friend who's got a Goodyear shop, and he sponsored this event every year. It was a car show, but because we knew some guys that have race cars, and like I said, my friend Billy has the reproduction of his AAFD rail, which he since sold. He would bring that. They had an In-N-Out burger car that came down. They had a funny car. Another friend we has an alcohol altered, and they'd always run the alcohol cars first. And then you're like, oh wow! Then like the In-N-Out burger car, wow! But when Billy, we saved Billy for last, and when he lit off that AAFD rail on nitro, again started on alcohol, you know, and it sounded so smooth and like quiet, and then they switched it. And my friend Ray he was always damn with the Pyretti. He was mixing the alcohol mixture, you know, checking humidity and, you know, doing his calculations. When I went to Nitro, and I'm there with my, you know, co-host Chris first time, and I remember we're standing there getting ready, and we were far, and I said, "Come here, stand here by the shop, stand far enough away." And I'm looking like, "Where's your ear protection? Where's your hearing protection?" He goes, "What?" I said, "You didn't bring a set of muffs?" I was like, "Dude," I said, "it's gonna be fucking loud, man." Well, I brought two. I said, "Here, I brought a spare pair. Put these on." And boy, he was happy I did. But we were standing against the glass wall, and you felt the glass shaking, you know, those big panes of glass shaking. And that's when we got that Nitro hit. I was like, wow, I like it. It was cool.
Yeah, somebody had done they put together a compilation of first timers where you see them there in the stands and talking, and also they about to jump out of their skin when they you know, it's like, yeah, they're.
I got some videos of that. I got to repost those. Yeah, I think that'd be good to do. I'll repost the videos.
You get that hit to the that concussion when it.
Oh yeah,
it's like
yeah. And again, you know, I like watching the people who crowded around who haven't been around one of these cars, and they're like,
they learn real quick.
It's loud. That stuff will make you cry and your nose run. And
oh yeah, nasty stuff. So I actually have a bottle of it in my in the garage. He gave me a little. It was like a paint sample bottle with a thing of tape on it. It says Nitro. So I got a little bottle. It's, you know, it's past its date now, but
yeah. When last time we went to we're in Charlotte. They had the four. Was the
four wide, yeah.
The school the daughter was going to, and they were there. One of the sponsors at the time, they sponsored Clay Milliken's car that year. And I remember going to the NHRA the booth and all that, and they had the little, like the 55-gallon drum magnet with the chemical thing of nitromethane on the seat, whatever. And I was like, oh, I want one of those.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that? It's like, that's nitromethane. That's the good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonder if I could even find. I don't even know where the hell I would have that picture.
So, Brian, a couple weeks ago, I went to one of your favorite places.
Mine.
I had to make a couple of deliveries to the Scout plant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And like I said,
it's the new Scout plant, right?
Yeah, it's in Blythewood, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I went the first time like a year and a half, or let me see, almost 2 years ago. I went when they were first. I mean, literally, they had a road and mounds of, you know, mostly, you know, dirt, a couple buildings, and we went in and dropped off a bunch of stuff. And then this time they've got a lot more. It looks like as you come into the property, it looks like they've got some like proving grounds, because they've got very defined finished hills and, you know, stuff. And it's like, yeah, there's too much design here for this just to be ornate. And I mean, they're talking even on the other side of the interstate, because I-77 runs between it. And I was doing some background. The rail is putting in a railhead so they can service the plant with the railhead. And I mean, it's not, this place is freaking huge. That's why I was telling Ray, if he, in his travels to go see his family and all that in and around that area, if he gets through there, this place is massive. I mean, it stretches from exit 27 to exit 24 in both sides of the interstate.
Yeah, it's supposed to be huge. Yeah, I've watched a few things and looked at a few things, and it's pretty massive.
Are they electric?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All electric. They have two models. They have two models. I think it's only two models on the Scout platform, or the Scout Volkswagen.
because when I first got the paperwork on that very, very first load, I was like, Scout. My brain, Scout boats. So, and again, it was still very fresh in the building. And then we get there, and I'm talking to the guy there, and he's German, and the crew, and this, that, and the other, and I was like, what are you guys building? It's out, Scout, new Scout. And again, I'm thinking, not thinking International Harvester Scout 2, the old stuff. Like, hell, my brother had a Scout 2. I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking Scout boats. And I'm like, well, okay, well, you're here. There's plenty of lakes and stuff in the river. Okay, I can see building a boat, but this is a pretty big factory to be building boats. And then I came back and later on, it was like, oh, no, it's a Scout. And I think I even sent something to Ray or talked to Ray about it, because they had that commercial where, the guy that works on the final Scout rolls down the line, and all the, everybody signs the car and all that. And that's the end of the run. And it's his daughter is on the new design team.
Yeah.
For the new Scout. I'm like, it wasn't bad, because it was Creedence, I think, doing the music for it. What is it? The candle, candle in the window. What is it?
That's Elton John.
No. It's the one with Creedence. Excuse me.
Well, Candle in the Wind threw me, because Candle in the Wind is Elton John.
No, it's that's one of the lyrics in the thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
put a candle in the window or something.
Oh, right. Yes.
It's Creedence, because I heard.
Yes,
when I saw the commercial.
Yes.
And the way my brain works, I immediately heard Creedence. I was
actually think that's on Cosmos Factory. I know the song. I just can't think of the name. I know what you mean. Yeah.
What do you guys think of the new Kenworth truck? Pickup truck.
Oh,
I haven't seen one.
I like it.
What? Kenworth?
Look at that. It looks like a Mercury.
No, that looks like it's April Fool's. I'm not falling for it.
Look at the gold one.
These ain't getting played.
Wait a minute, let me show you.
It's a Chevy. It's a Chevy 3500. It just has
no wait. They got these too.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Rumors and reality. I wonder what part of that is true. The rumor or the reality part.
I've been seeing them pop up. I think they're coming out with them, to be honest.
I think someone's been playing with AI a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I like that gold one. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a
We're smoking the tires that aren't turning.
Well, it's like International has that. I think they call it a CV, which is like that. It's like a 2 or 3 ton version, and it's got a Duramax. And last one I saw, Duramax Allison, but of course that partnership has sailed. Allison now no longer has anything to do with GM and Duramax, but if you go by the new mid-size, I think, what is it, class 6 or class 5 Internationals, they've all got Duramaxes and stuff in them, so still labeled as an International, but it's
smaller.
PACCAR makes I think
I don't
they
see
make
any pickup trucks on their website.
Well, they've made a T370, which again was like, I think a class 6 truck, class 5 or class 6, which Ford makes that F750.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice truck too. That 750.
I don't know. I remember when Ford had the announcement that they were going to be coming out with it. What is it? The Unlimited. I think, this was a couple years ago, and they just point blank said, this is going to be a 6-figure truck. And I was like, you got to be kidding, a 6-figure pickup truck. And
that was the Platinum. Well, not Unlimited, but the Platinum thing. That came out.
Some of the Chevys are up there.
Well, I was going to say, go price a Longhorn, what's the Cape Ranch? What's the Chevy version? Chevy's got one too. They're all decked out, fancy.
Laramie from Is that Dodge, Laramie's?
Yeah, I mean they.
Yeah, it's Ford.
No, Laredo was it? Laramie, Laredo, but they
Chevy
all
probably
have a
Denali or something. That would be expensive. That'd be up there.
Yeah,
They
they're all
all-
in the 100 grand.
all
GMC
of them. Yeah, Chevrolet, Ford, Chrysler, whatever they're Ram. They all have a decked out truck, and it's six figures almost, if not
There's
six.
no way I'm paying something that I could buy a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I can buy 2 houses here in Ohio and pretty decent houses.
Lewis, I talked to a guy the other day, and I said, "Man, I paid $60,000 for my Kenworth. I'm not going to go buy a pickup truck.
Yeah, but you can't work.
It's more money than my damn, my tractor. Doesn't make sense to me." But
So one of my tow trucks, I bought the first one, the new one with the self loader on it, was $69,000, and I thought that was outrageous. But it worked. It made its own payment. You know what I mean?
Made the money, yeah.
Yeah. In no way I'm buying a pickup truck that don't make any money.
Yeah.
I remember Lewis when I lived in Florida. Guy's tooling around, and he's in a single cab, long wheelbase, 4-wheel drive, blue and silver Chevy, and he's tooling around, and the guy's looking squirrely. He's acting squirrely. I'm going, this guy's up to something.
Repo man.
He went by, and I said, "Damn, that truck ain't got a bumper on the back of it.
Sneaker lift.
Look, just like a pickup truck, just standard long wheelbase truck, but it didn't have a bumper." He turned a corner, and he kind of did one of these numbers, and I saw he had a controller in his hand. He flipped it, and all of a sudden you see the and I was like, "Oh, that's it's like that." Sure enough, he was, like I said, he was looking for a car. He hit that button, and that thing flipped over and all that, and he grabbed it and he took off with it, and I was like, "Son of a gun!"
So I met the guy that invented the self loader. So when you see the dynamic wheel lifts, they're automatic wheel lifts. So I went to a repo conference and we were sitting at a dinner, one of those, you know how they have dinners and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sitting there talking to this guy, older guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I sold the dynamic lift to Miller Industry." And I was like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, I invented the self loader." And he goes, me and my buddy were out repoing one day, and we get out to hook this car up, and we had the sling, the old bumper sling. And he goes, "We're out, we're hooking it up," and this lady comes and stabs me in the back.
Oh,
He said he hit him twice, boom, boom. And so he got back in the truck, and he's like, "Oh man, I think she stabbed me." He thought she had hit him. So he goes, "Man, we got to figure out something. Either we got to get a different profession, or we got to figure out a way to get these cars." And so he said, the first truck, he cut a hole in the cab, and he ran cables back to the arms,
right.
the hand arms. And he said he pulled the PTO, and he pulled one cable, and the lift dropped down, and he pulled another cable, and it wrapped around the tires. Pulled another cable,
Yep.
lifted up, and it took off. And they said they couldn't even repo it because they were laughing so hard that this contraption worked. You were at the corner laughing, and that's where it came from. He built it. Yep, it was pretty cool to sit down and talk to him about it.
So
Yeah.
basically, it was the same. He did the same thing, but he was outside the truck. Like, he didn't have to mess with the car at all, right? He just had to sit there with the levers on the outside.
Well, what he did is he got the levers outside that made the hydraulic go up and down.
Yeah.
But the wheel part of it, he put springs on it. So you spring load it, and it locked with the 2 bars in the middle.
So we had to change that.
When it hits the tires, then it spring loads around the back of the tires, and then you lift it up.
Okay. So before, the normal way would be what? He would manually wrap it around the tire?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. He would get out and put the bar behind the
So that was
tire,
probably-
and it slides in to the lift.
Yeah. So that was
Yep.
probably the hardest part for him to figure out. Like, how do I
Yep.
get that part to be automatic?
Yep.
Yeah.
All that is light years ahead of the old sling and J hooks. Like if they said he was trying to do a bumper sling and the J hooks and all that, that's
Oh yeah. That'd tear your
That's
car up,
like-
too.
That's like
Yeah.
when I worked at the gas station, we had to go repo a car that, the guy didn't pay on. So, old man Jim, he looked like Barney Rubble, and he smoked Pall Malls, and he packed them so tight that they'd stay in his mouth and the ashes would stay. Every time I would stand there, I would like hold my hand out like to catch these ashes, and he'd just be talking and that cigarette bouncing around, you know. So and he was, like I said, he was a character. But we get in the car, we get in the tow truck, and he looks at me and goes, "You ever repoed a car?" And I said, "No." He goes, and he hands me the hook with the chain, you know. And I said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" He said, when we get by this car, he says, "Man, you just throw it up underneath there and pull it, and then put that chain in that little hook, and we'll drag it down the street, and then we'll tie it up, you know." And I said, "All right." And he said, you know, Jim's we're driving, got this old tow truck, you know, 3-speed thing, you know, just bouncing around. He's got a cigarette bouncing around, never lost the ash, dude. I mean, he's just fucking bouncing around. He said, get ready, it's coming up." And it was a Duster. I mean, it was not a Duster, a Dart. It was a Dodge Dart. And he's like, get ready. I'm like, "Okay, you gonna slow down? And I'm like, I had the door open. He just pushes me out. I mean, he's moving, and I'm like running along, and I throw that chain up, yanked on it, and I slapped it on the back, and he just takes off. I mean, he's gone. My fat ass is running down the street after him, you know. And we get about 2-3 blocks down the road. I'm dead, dude. I'm like fucking running out. I was like, "What the fuck?" He goes, "I didn't want anybody shooting at me." He was like, "Fuck." But I put that hook right through that radiator, dude. I threw that right in and hooked it right on, man. I tell you, that was the adventure of my repo on
yeah.
on a car.
Now you don't have to get out of the truck, man. You back up, hit switches. You got cameras in there. You just back up, 30 seconds, man. I'm telling you, you're hooked and gone.
So the same guy I worked for. This was we had moved to another gas station, or he had bought another gas station we were working at, and it was 76 Trans Am, and it had, you know, all the flarings and everything like that. And it was like, I hated. I wasn't with them when they did this, but I was at the night manager. I was closing up the station, and I always hated the 15 minutes before we closed, because that's when like all hell would break loose, you know, because the owner would either come by and want to take all the money. You know, if you didn't drop the money fast enough, he'd take it all, you know, and all kinds of shady. Oh yeah, dude. All the shady guys would show up, you know, right before we closed, because they're going to meet or have something was going to go on in the back room or whatever, you know. I just was like, always like the last 15 minutes. So the phone rings, and I pick up the phone, and blah blah blah, and he's like, open the bay doors, and I'm like, what? And he goes, open the fucking bay door. I'm like, all right, dude. So I like go out, open the center bay door to the gas station, and here comes this tow truck about 150 miles an hour up the road, man. He's just dragging the Trans Am is like half on the lift, you know, it's just dragging, shit falling off the car. He brings it around, drops it, and he crams it in the whole, in the bay, and the lift was sitting there, tears all the flarings off the car. I mean, everything else is on the car is just like torn off, and he slams the door, and he's like, he's like, yeah, fuck that guy. And he fucking drives off. Well, 30 seconds later, guess who comes up to the gas station? The guy that owns that car. And I'm trying to get out of there, dude. He's like just, when they had those metal racks that had all the oil cans on it, out front, he's picking this shit up, trying to throw it through the bay, the window, and he's fucking just tearing the whole front up. Oh, it was a mess, dude. So a couple days later, they get this thing. I guess he paid or got it all worked out, and the owner comes up. He goes, "Hey man, get that car cleaned up so he come pick his car up." I said, "Cleaned up?" I said, "Dude, there's like it's all fucked up." And so like the flarings all on it. He hands me his like black duct tape and says, "Just tape the shit back on, dude."
Oh God!
Just tape this shit out. It was like, man, back in the day, it was crazy shit, dude.
Yeah.
The stuff that we did. That was that guy tore that whole front of that place up. I just destroyed all that stuff trying to get into place. I'm like, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. So good times.
Yeah, the banks got sued a lot for repo guys tearing up the cars, so that's why it moved towards the self loaders and stuff. That was a big thing, big insurance. We had our insurance policy was really high. Like we paid $35. We paid $35. Wait, no, it was more than that. It was every car, every repo that we got in, the actual paper, we had to pay insurance on it before we even went out and picked it up.
Oh wow!
Oh really?
And it got to the point where they had software that it handled all the repo companies' information, and they send it through the software, and then an insurance company could see the software and know how much to charge you.
Yeah.
And we were doing 250 repos a month. So think about that bill. Our bill was $1,000, $2,000 a month for insurance.
Yeah, that was crazy. I still have that picture of that Trans Am half on the lift. You know, it was half on the boom, dragging shit, sparks flying all over the plane, everything hanging off of that thing.
Yeah, those slings were terrible, man. They'd tear cars up, especially when they came out with the cars with the plastic bumpers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that killed them.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you talk about towing car, because I know you used to do some towing, as well as recovery and stuff like that. And I pulled brand new cars and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say we towed cars, but we were transporting brand new cars.
Mm-hmm.
And I come by and I see these guys, especially doing a lot of runs in and out of Florida. There's all kinds of. I saw about a 71 Capri this morning on the back end of a mobile car hauler, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a Buick above it and that. And I said, damn, that looks like a Capri. I mean, and the small bodied, and I got up. Sure enough, I got around him. I was like, sure. I was like, damn, that's good, because I spotted that thing about a half a mile back and went, that looks like one of them old, early 70s Capris, and that's what it was.
Yeah, you don't see them. So it
sticks
out.
That's what made it stand out from everything else on the trailers, because an old car. But
there's a guy down the street right before 95. He parks and he's got a trailer, and he's usually got some very interesting old stuff. I don't know where he's finding it. I don't know where he's digging it out. I mean, some of them need a little bit of work, but like you said, it always catches my eyes because it's always something, from the yesteryears.
The thing that got me was coming back from Jacksonville today. I saw a guy, and he's probably about a 30-foot gooseneck trailer on the back of a dually or something. Joe Bananas towing on, in the back window of the dually. And this thing had 4 straps at each corner, basically like looped around the tire. And I looked at that, and as a ex-flatbed or former flatbed driver, I looked at that and I went, you hit anything in the road hard enough, that thing's gone. What makes these idiots think that a strap wrapped around the tire is going to keep that thing from doing anything?
Well, wait, what kind of straps was it?
Well, they had the ones that go over the top of the tire and come around the front, or
Yeah,
down
U-Haul.
on the rim, and then they have 2 tie points. Those are the ones that are
No, Ray, it wasn't like on a U-Haul car trailer, where, like I said, where it wraps over. This was like, if the tire is like here, they just had like it looped, one side there and then one side around the back of it, and then pulled down to the rub rail on the trailer.
I mean, then
Oh
you
yeah,
have to
those work.
go through the rim. They go through the rim and pull it down. But
No, mine went over the tire like that. It was a 2-inch strap that went around, and then it had a D ring, and then it goes through the D ring and then to the ratchet. You hook the ratchet to the side of the trailer, and it tightens up around the tire.
Let's do some physics though, or some mechanics.
Uh-huh.
You're trying to 4 corners of that vehicle. You're trying to secure it with the wheel. Well, the wheel is bolted to a hub or an axle. If that thing was to hit a hard ditch or something where it's going to lay over, you honestly think 4 little straps around the top of a tire is going to keep it on top of that chassis or on top of that deck?
I hauled hundreds of cars like that. Yep, it holds it down because you're ratcheting it.
I wouldn't bet a plug nickel that it would hold it down.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, all those wedge trailers, that you see, they all use those. They come from the factory.
Well, the system we had in my car hauler was it had like an E-Trax in the floor, and those went over the tire itself. We had to go over so many of the tires. They said as long as we had 2, we were fine as far as the OEMs were concerned, but I would put as many on it as I could, because sometimes with the way the trailer was set up, I couldn't get, because of the bias, with the front or left or right, front to back. Me being, small little 6'2" guy, couldn't fit in between the side of the trailer and that to throw another strap on it. Yeah. But as far as the OEMs and all them were concerned, Toyota, Saab, Volvo, Audi, some Volkswagens and stuff like that we pulled, as long as we had 2 over that tire on the E-Trax that was in the floor, they were like, you're good.
So matter of fact, on the tow trucks, the wheel lifts use those same straps. You put the strap around the tire and then you ratchet it down on the side of the wheel lift, and it holds it down in the lift.
Yeah, I wished I had a picture again, because and like if you've and I think about it, because when I drug my Cyclone over, I just used a 2-wheel U-Haul dolly. Made sure the rear end had plenty of oil in it, and you put it up there and it goes over the thing, and then you ratchet strap it down. That I have no problem with.
I think that's the same setup too, as on those dollies.
Like I said, the car the one that just caught my eye and had me shaking my head, it literally looked like they had a rope just tied around the top of the tire.
It might be, yeah.
And then pulled down to the side, and I went.
He could have. I mean, there's no accounting for what people will do.
Yeah, he might have had some goofy stuff going on. But my straps were 2-inch straps. You know how you had the 2-inch ratchets?
Yeah. 2 inches, what, 2 or 3? I forget what the rule of thumb used to be. 1,000 pounds per inch ballpark. Yeah. So if you had a 2-inch strap, you would.
Yeah. So you have one long strap, and at the end of the strap it has a D ring. So you put the one end of the strap through the D ring. Right. And that's the loop. And you put that loop around your tire, and then the other side goes on a ratchet, and then you hook it to the trailer and you ratchet it down. So here's the theory of it. All 4 tires are ratcheted down, but the car still has suspension. So the car will move, but the wheels don't. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I mean, I understand the theory, but just seeing the way that these guys tow these things.
Yeah, they might have had something different. Yeah,
I give them plenty of room, because it's like, I don't want some piece of junk Buick as a hood ornament, because something happened and all of a sudden they plopped one off the back of the trailer.
Yeah, anything can happen though. Yeah,
where I am now, the main road out here, Sunrise Highway, secondary road, it's a state road, and the municipalities. You go through a lot of individual towns, and right now, the police, it seems like they go through waves of who they're pulling over. And it's usually, there's trucks. They'll pull over 5, 6 trucks at a time in one of the train station parking lots and just run through the gamut. And I guess it's like shooting fish in a barrel. But now it seems like this month, the thing is now they're getting all the independent guys. Because all I'm seeing are these, the pickup fifth wheels with the car carrier, and they're all from out of state. Every single one of them on both sides of the road, they're pulling these guys over. Because now they're putting cameras, not only speed cameras, but they have cameras now that read the license plate readers, and they can tell if your registration and or inspection is out. So they read it digitally. Cop gets the thing, just pulls them over, and it's like, did it have to work for him already? So these guys
her money.
Left and right, they're getting stopped.
Hochul wants her money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Here, I found it. I'm gonna show you real quick. Wait a minute.
I wonder about that too, because she's. I mean, that's governor. She's the state. This is county, municipality. I don't know if it gets kicked up to her. It may just be county revenue.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
Is that what you seen?
No, that was much more extravagant than what this Yahoo had on this thing.
Yeah.
She's
So
got
these work well. They work on tow trucks too. Like say that the wheel lift would be right here, and that strap would hook to the wheel lift. And
Right, yeah, and I mean I get that because you're pulling across the back of the tire, and
now these here mount 2 places. I don't like these too much because they could slide off. I think.
That's close to the system I had in my car hauler.
Mm-hmm.
With the let's see, where those have a J hook on them. The ones we had the E-tracks, that little thing for an E-track on the front and back. Now I see those all the time, and again,
yeah, those work good too.
If somebody tried to pull a car with a line like that, I would say you're either going to put the car back on the ground or you're going to chain it better, because that's not acceptable.
Now most cars have holes in the frame that has those. I forget. Are they J hooks? They're not J hooks.
You have J hooks, T hook.
T hooks.
You have J, T, and there's one other ones. I sell them on the tool truck.
Yeah, the T hooks go in that little hole.
When they use them full frames.
When I first started restoring my Pontiac, my buddy's son, who at the time was only like, I don't know, 18, 19, but he's been driving and towing forever. He came to pick the car up to take it to the shop on the flatbed. We get it out in the street, we get it up on the flatbed, and he gets the chains. And I saw him with with that gnarly looking thing, and he's looking around in the chassis. I was like, what are you doing? I had already put the Global West suspension in the car, and the rear end was in, and it was all painted. He goes, my dad told me specifically to not put any J hooks on this car because you already got the new stuff in. And he said, I got to do it by the chassis. I'm like, well, show me what you're doing. And he worked it into the chassis and turned it and locked it. I'm like, is that what those fucking holes are for? He's like, I said, I had no idea. I always wondered what those holes were on the chassis. And I said,
they're always angled sideways. So when you stick the hook in it, then it turns.
Yeah.
Drops.
Yep. So it took a guy more than half my age to show me something. But I said, hey, that's cool, man. I said, I learn something all the time. I said, you're a smart kid. He goes, yeah, my dad told me, do not put a J hook on that car. I was like, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's cool. So it made me wonder. I guess the factory did that for when they transported the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, why the hell would they care if you had a place to hook on?
Yeah.
Yep. So when I had a truck that had a boom on it. On the end of the boom had the cables, and it had 3 different hooks. It had that T hook, a J hook, and then a regular hook or a regular chain thing. So you can have different options what you hook to.
Yeah, I sell. Like I said, what's the company? Starts with an M, but they make pullers and for the frame and everything. And
Mohawk?
you can no,
Oh.
Mo Clamp. It's Mo Clamp
Wow.
is the name of the company. And like I said, they just have different. They have one that has. It's one piece that has the 3 different ends. Some guys will get that, and then or you get the individuals, and they usually come with a chain on them to loop them in or to lock them in. You just stick it in, twist it, and then they use it to tie. They tie it down to the frame machine when they're pulling on it or whatever.
It's a big industry. People don't realize the towing and transport industry is really big, man. They got a lot of equipment.
Go price a 75-ton rotator.
Good. $1 million. $1 million. You got to do a lot of rotating.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lewis, you know as well as I do, and Ray's probably been around some of this too. When you call, like if something happens, and unfortunately, like I said, when I blew that turbo in that Freightliner I had, where you at? Okay, it's X number of miles. It's X number of miles per miles there, miles back, as well as time to get to you. And it's all they're just ringing the register. It's a service fee, and then it's X number of miles, and then once he drops the truck off,
to get back,
you're still on the clock till they get back to either another call, which drops you off the clock, and then the new customer picks up, or they go back to the yard and then they drop the clock, and you're paying for it the whole time.
Yeah, it's called port to port. Yep.
Because they're like, because the tow bill for that, when that truck blew the turbo and all that, by the time it was said and done, the tow bill and everything was about $950 by the time. Because I told him, I was like, the trailer needs to go to this address. I know where that's at. Okay, the trailer needs to go there, and then the truck needs to go to the shop. Call me, and it's call me when you're done. And they gave me,
Yep.
I authorized it once they gave me the dollar amount of, drop. Okay, that's all I can do.
So when you see those semis get in accidents on the highway, they're $20,000-$30,000 tows to get those picked up.
Wow.
So the tow company has to go clean up all the mess too. So they get the vehicle, they if they got to recover it from flipped over or whatever, they do all that. They do all the trailer and all the stuff on the ground. They clean all that up. It'll run you 40,000.
Wow.
For one accident.
For a driver who may not have a license.
And the other part of that is, I forget how many years ago it started. Like I said, I got my CDL in 2004, and seemed like shortly after that was when they started making dramatic changes to the tractors themselves, because they had a bunch of the safety and the engineers that were analyzing these accidents, and if the driver or anybody else is in the truck and they're involved in a bad accident, they were finding a lot of these people got really hurt bad or unalived because the engines and transmissions and all, transmission in those things is, as big as a damn coffee table, weighs a couple, 800-900 pounds easy. The engine is 3,000 or 4,000 pounds easy. So they design. That's when they started designing them in a bad accident. Drop.
Yep.
Transmission in the engine and all.
Yeah, like a race car. Yeah, like a race
They're designed to drop.
Out.
They're designed to drop so that way, anybody in the compartment, passenger compartment,
One of my friends
just said, okay, you've got to clean this wrecker up, and there's an engine and transmission and a front axle and all that stuff is laying on the ground.
Yeah, yep. One of my friends, he was driving down the road, and he said he was reaching over to get his potato chips and fell on the floor. So he's reaching down to get his potato chips, and he said when he looked back up, there was a truck on the side of the road, and he had veered off and hit the side of his truck. And it ripped the whole side of his cab was off, right? And he was sitting, holding the steering wheel, sitting on the ground. The whole cab is on the ground, and the frame and everything else was off to the side. And he said he's still sitting there holding the steering wheel. He goes, I was like, they built it like that to save your life. It ripped all that stuff out of the bottom, and you're still in the cab.
I think this is well past that era, but my buddy Bill just asked, is that what caused the demise of the cab over?
No,
Probably.
But
No.
the cab over, I think was done many years before, right?
the cab over, which I love because that's how I learned how to drive in a cab over, and I have a soft spot in my heart for cab overs. Because as a kid growing up in the early 70s, you guys know that's what you saw on the roads primarily were
Sure.
cab overs.
Sure.
The reason being they had federal length laws.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Mm.
So the shorter the truck, you could make the trailer longer.
Oh,
That was the whole design, Ray, of a cab over was
Okay.
the shorter truck, longer trailer with more product in it. Because you
Yeah.
had initially, I think, like a 35 or 38 or 40 foot, and then
40 back then,
45, and then 48, and then 53.
all right. So Bill says his favorite was the GMC Astro 95.
Yep. Those came, you could get those with a 318 Detroit or some of the 671s or the Detroit motors.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's a classic design.
A 671 GMC,
Yeah.
aka the Screaming Jimmies. Got a 2,500 RPM Redline. Sounds like it's 6,000 RPM. It's only running like 2,500 RPM.
Big pipes going straight out the ceiling.
Oh, I got it, Ray. You've heard one. You just didn't realize it. The old 4104 GMC buses
Mhm.
that they used to use for the Greyhounds. You remember the old Greyhounds when they would.
Yeah.
That was a 671 GMC in those things.
Okay.
They have a very unique sound. The old two-stroke Detroits. You can hear them a mile away.
They're highly wanted too. People want
Oh, yeah.
those.
There's a guy that's in upstate New York has got a channel, and that's what he primarily does is the old two-stroke Detroits.
That just reminded me. I bought a set a while ago. I bought a DVD set. It's like I think a 3-movie or 4-movie set of like classic trucker movies, and I got that upstairs. That's pretty cool stuff.
But no, that's like I said. The cab overs were they were a function of the length laws.
Mhm.
And then in the late 70s and early 80s, they started to relax some of the length laws.
That's when they got the 53s.
And then I forget what year they eventually said, okay, we're not going to tie the tractor length to the trailer length. And that's when you started seeing the large cars, the 300-inch trucks and 320s,
Stretch
350s, and stuff like that were stretched out. Guys that just did nothing but east-west, east-west. Because you get something that's 320 inches, and hell, you can't hardly turn that thing in a parking lot.
But it rides smooth.
Oh yeah, they ride like a damn cloud floating down the interstates. But you wouldn't want to try to, you wouldn't want to alley dock one.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to alley dock one.
I always wonder. I was like, man, how long can you make it? I wonder what the regulation length is.
Well, you know what? I don't know. It's they just had mats, which I want to go to mats. That's what we need to do, Lewis. You and I need to go to mats one year.
Yeah.
Because that's in Louisville. That's about half. We can meet halfway. I go up to Louisville, you come down to Louisville.
Yeah.
And Ray, they like I said, they eventually said the trailer length is the trailer length. It's immaterial of the truck length. So you have a 120-inch truck or a 330 or 340. It doesn't matter. The trailer is the trailer. The truck is the truck. Overall, they don't care anymore.
Okay.
Ray, have you seen those trucks with the stretched out, like the wheels are way back?
I can't say that I might have on the road with the travel I've been doing. I can't recall.
I'm about to pull one up.
Yeah,
They're beautiful.
That's a lot. There's a craze going on now with a lot of the older retired drivers that are getting them and stretching them out and towing fifth wheels with them.
Oh,
You know, they'll have a 300-inch tractor and they'll tow a real nice decked out fifth wheel with it.
Oh yeah.
the thing I get a kick out of is when I'm on the road and I see, a tractor, and he's towing like 5 more cabs that are up on the
Yeah.
like on the rack. He's got a rack of cabs. Like, that is the coolest looking thing in the world. A truck bringing 5 trucks.
I almost got involved with that year when I was with the first mega carrier. They called it the drive away program.
Uh-huh.
And they would have 3 or 5 or whatever number of trucks. Like I said, they would pull the axle, set it up, and then piggyback them.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the guy who actually drives that, they stay in a motel or a hotel. They don't, all they do is drive.
Uh-huh.
And when you're driving those things, you're under transport. You're not under load. You're not, there's a special little cutout in the law when you're transporting.
Uh-huh.
So those guys usually they have point to point. You're going to go this far this night. You're going to go this far the second night or whatever. They have it plotted out. You're going to stay in this motel, this hotel, and that way there's people watching and all that because, hell, like I said, I went to price some tires for my truck. And if I try to put the same Continentals that are on it now,
Jeez.
Oh,
they're
wow.
$700 a piece.
I have not seen one of them, but that is super slick.
Oh yeah, low and long.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
And this is a nice one, but they got some really, really nice ones out.
So now again, why is the hitch so far back on that chassis?
Well, so they're getting a better ride because the wheelbase is so long. So the trailer is about right here.
And
And
actually,
all this is it's for
aesthetic.
appearance and it'll ride better.
A lot of it
Long
is
wheelbase
aesthetics.
car.
Yeah.
That's Ray. That's what they call a coffin sleeper. That's a tiny little sleeper.
Yeah.
But again, if he's towing a tray, in a trailer or something like that, then he's
I guess
doing toting it.
Yeah, I guess you can't not like small spaces if you're sleeping in that thing, huh?
Yeah, well, they make them with super cabs too, with like RVs on the back.
Wow.
But that's why I was going to say, Lewis. I've seen a couple different ads at the one company that was at Matt's this year, and they're talking about they can convert. Like my truck has got a 74-inch sleeper on it.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, they can convert my truck, the sleeper and everything in my truck, and put a microwave. I've already got a refrigerator, a bathroom and a shower, and pretty much keep like the same size bed. They just kind of rearrange it and put the toilet and the shower and then and all that stuff in there. And I think they said out the door they were looking at 38,000 or whatever.
Woo.
But think about it. If you're on the road with a couple or whatever, and you don't really have a home, your home is the truck, and all you're doing is banking miles. $5,000-$6,000 a week, $6,000 a week.
Yeah, there you go, Ray.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
The size of those pipes. Holy shit.
And see how they put the fenders on the back?
Yeah, man. That's like a tail dragger on the bikes. The tail dragger fender.
This isn't one of the nicer ones. They got some out, man,
That's cool.
that are killing this one.
Wow, that's neat.
Well, you see the one up there with the tag axle on it,
Uh-huh. Yeah, 3 axles, huh?
and that's actually like a 62-inch sleeper. That's actually not a bad sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mr. Fred.
There you go. Where'd it go? There it is. I think that's AI. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
So Vince, what does MATS stand for?
MATS is Midwest American Truck Show.
Okay. Makes sense.
The next biggest show that's bigger than Matt's is GATS, and that's in Dallas. That's the Great American Truck Show.
All right.
And that's Matt's that's the two premier truck shows. And they have like any hot rod, stuff. They have builder classes. That's a nice looking Freightliner there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The top one's a Freightliner, the bottom one's a Pete.
I mean, you can get really creative with these trucks. I want to show you a super cab. I can get one up. Nah, it won't let me.
All it takes is money.
That's all it takes. Signature on a check.
Yeah. That's
No.
pounds.
No, Ray, I see. I'm like your buddy. I like those old GMC Astros. To me, that was a cool truck. Though that the interiors in those trucks were actually somewhat thought out. They were very ergonomics for the time. A lot of guys hated them, but if you look at them, it's they were. You can tell they had some design on them.
What the? Heck?
Wow. Talk
No.
about a house on wheels.
Oh yeah, they're like an RV inside.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw one about like that Monday, Ray. Laid out, didn't have as fancy paint, but it was laid out about just like that.
Wow.
Yep.
Where'd you see that?
Coming back from Charlotte, actually.
Yeah.
They're on the road all the time. You're going to start noticing them now that I showed you this.
Well, I'll be back on the road in May again, so I'll keep my eyes. Well, actually, I got to make a do. I got to go down to South Carolina. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is go to North Carolina first.
And that's
Yeah.
and that's what I was telling you. If you're going to go 77 down from Charlotte down into Charleston, you're going to go 77. You'll drive by the plant.
Yeah, I'm
And
going
you'll
to shoot
see
over to. I'm going to shoot over. Oh Jesus! I'll shoot over to Charleston and I'll shoot back to North Carolina.
So how long you think that one is?
That's
That's
crazy.
probably
Jeez.
400 inch, I bet.
Jeez.
Now, when you get inside those, it looks like an RV, like a,
I bet.
it's set up just like an RV.
Sure.
I'm trying to see if I can find one that has a picture of the inside, but I mean, you can get some stuff. You'll
So you
start
get
to see
that-
them now that I showed you this.
So you get that. You get that tractor and then tow a 53-foot trailer behind it.
Yep.
Jeez.
So
be like-
you're going to put some. You're
See?
going to put some
Right
of
here.
those crazy.
Yeah.
You going to put some of those crazy eyes on your schoolie?
Yeah, my wife. I was gonna buy some when we were on the road, but they were like double the price. I can get them off Amazon, so I need to order them because she wants them.
A buddy mine's got some in the gold Volvo. He always runs the red ones. In his
Yeah.
gold Volvo there. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to get them. My wife wants them.
Which eyes are those?
They go on your windshield, and you can make them do different things. They'll like blink and do all kinds of
Oh
things.
yeah, I've seen those things.
You can have writing go across there too.
Yep.
This is a big boy right here.
Jeez.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's crazy.
I tried to talk the wife into doing something like this, but she wasn't having it. She was like, "No more trucks for us." I'm like, come on, babe.
Yeah.
We can make a couple dollars and still travel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably only a little bit longer than the bus.
Yeah. Yep. I
Yeah,
tried.
then you have
Believe me.
Yeah, then you got the fifth wheel. You put whatever you want back there.
Yeah. She was done. She was like, "We're retired. We're not doing no work." So I couldn't get anything.
Yeah. It's not that much work. Just put a trailer back there and just towing it somewhere and dropping it off.
I tried. Believe me. I put it on the drawing board.
Have you talked to any of the guys that you work with since you've been out?
Yeah. Yeah, they hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
I
I
was
know.
like, "Come on, I'll help you build a bus. You take off with me."
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
We're getting really good response from that interview that we did with Tiny Home Tours.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah, it came out really nice.
It did. They did a great job.
Yeah, they did. He filmed this for, I'm telling you, 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was here for a while
Yeah. Very cool.
to get 16-minute video.
Yeah, I know. 6 hours of tape.
Yeah,
the video. Yeah.
But he's gonna send me all the footage that he shot, so I'll have all the raw footage.
Yeah, he had drone shots, and I was like, man, he
Yeah.
set it up nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he wasn't playing, man. Not only
What did he do?
did
Have you? He had you drive, and then he droned it.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So when he did it, he first did it with vertical, and he went through and we did the whole interview vertical. Then he came back in and did it horizontal for YouTube. So the vertical is for shorts and like
Yeah. Why couldn't he just convert it though? That's what.
it's too much work.
Hmm.
So he did them both.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I've accidentally recorded stuff vertical. I was like, oh no, and then I just rotate it and.
Yeah, but if you think
fine.
about it, when you do that, it always takes away something. You don't get the full.
Oh, yeah, because you're missing a whole bunch on the outside. Yeah.
Yeah. So he went through and did them both. So he has for TikTok, Instagram, and
Wait, did he do it at the same time?
no,
2 cameras?
we did it twice. That's what I'm saying. We went through. He did the vertical first, and then he came back and did the
He just had
horizontal.
two cameras, horizontal and vertical, and just there you go. Just put them
He
on
has
one
some-
stick.
He has some monster equipment though. Well,
Yeah.
you see how it came out. He wasn't playing.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vince, got one more question for you from Bill. Have
Yes,
you
sir.
spent any time in a Mac?
Me, I have not. That I have not. Now I have owned its cousin, a Volvo, because Mac and Volvo are owned by the same parent company, just like a Peterbilt and a Kenworth are owned by the same parent company. So I have been in Volvos